TPE Network. Fun yet informative podcasts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mouse House Plus, episode 13. I'm Hank.
And I'm John.
And together we combine to be your hosts, like Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like that. We are covering episode 2 of season 1 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the Star-Spangled Man. I don't know who named that one, but boy, that's a doozy.
Well, that's actually a spinoff of whenever we have Captain America, the First Avenger, because that was one of his promotional characters whenever he was trying to drum up more bonds. So there's actually something to that. It wasn't just like someone went fished around in a hat and was like, yeah, we'll go with this one.
I'm picturing a guy with a pointy mustache, and it's like, hey, you're Star Spangled Man in a monocle. Come on in, step right up. Oh, that'd be great. Well, are you ready to get into the recap?
Yes.
So we see JW10 on a locker behind another name. I guess that used to be his old locker back in high school, John Walker.
And here's a problem with this. I kept staring at him like, what does AW or what does JW mean? I actually didn't realize his name was John Walker until the second viewing, and I saw his name on there, and I'm like, oh, duh.
Are you one of the conspiracy theorists that believe 10 could stand for like Weapons X program? 10X?
No, because 10 is supposed to be Wolverine.
Right, but the same program that spawns Wolverine. No, because we find out in this. This is a little bit ahead, but we find out in this episode that he has not had any kind of super soldier serum. Oh, I can't wait to get there because we're gonna debate that.
Okay,
all right. So John Walker's getting a pep talk from, is that his girlfriend? Do they ever
his wife?
That's his wife. They revealed that.
Yeah, so I was reading an article where it's his wife, but his wife has no connection to anyone in the 616 universe. So this is something that the MCU created by itself.
Okay. So it's time to go to work. They had that cool little pinky kiss. I was like, that's kind of cool. If I wasn't a lonely fanboy, I'd adopt that. Cap's signing autographs. Does it tick you off that I call him Cap?
A
little bit.
I don't know. It does a little bit, but the Captain America mantle was it. It was a mantle, but I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence where I don't know why they're being so mean to him. Yeah, clearly. He even says he's not trying to be Captain America. He's trying to just be the best Captain America that he could be. Sorry, he's not trying to be
Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers, thank you.
Fred Rogers.
I was thinking Scott for some reason.
Scott.
Scott Rogers.
That's even better. Yeah, they made him kind of sympathetic, in my opinion, which is okay. But as the episode goes on, I can't wait. Oh my gosh, I love this. So here's your new Captain America. And what does the new Captain America do? He goes on, "Good Morning America." That was pretty freaking funny to me, kind of too on the nose.
I had a problem with the left-handed high five that the drum major gave him. I don't know why that bothered me, but I was going down. I'm like, who does that?
Is this where we've devolved to, John? We've got to recap the high fives.
But hey, that is the first thing that stuck out to me. Then the second thing that stuck out to me is he's at their high school, and I'm looking at that that grandstand, and I'm like, man, that's a big grandstand for a high school. It looked more like college worthy. I know my high school only had the bleachers that went up one section. That actually had sections and then aisles in the sections that kind of came out. That was a little hardcore. And I do know that some of the Western high schools out there, they get pretty big and intense. But I don't know. And think about this. I'm like, okay, so I was in marching band. Unfortunately, I didn't do a lot of sports, but I did marching band, and that's actually a lot more intense than people seem to think if you've never dealt with it or done it.
Okay, so, calm down there, buddy.
No. It is. It's a lot of it's more like you're going through military training where you're doing the discipline versus the actual grueling workouts.
Okay.
Anyway, so I'm like looking at these uniforms and I'm like, man, that is a ridiculous amount of money for a high school to go back and retool themselves with like, all new uniforms. The guard had uniforms, the cheerleader had new uniforms, everyone did. And I'm sorry. See, again, just like you said a little while ago, this is what we've divulged to. Like I'm like seeing these things and I'm like, man, I mean, this is just okay, so he went to high school there. So we're going to completely change their whole like high school uniforms. I wonder if their high school colors even changed and all that, because typically the marching band uniform colors are based off the high school colors. So
true. Yeah, most certainly. That's pretty cool, though. Great insight, though. That's kind of next level. So he's on Good Morning America, and we find out that he is well decorated, 3 medals of honor, and he's modeled his work after Steve Rogers. And I kind of felt sympathetic for him at this point, because I'm like, okay, he's just got a gig. He's trying to make it happen. Because in jobs, I've replaced people that, man, their team loved them. And then I come in and I'm like, I'm not him. I'm not that guy. So I'm not as loved or whatever, but I'm just trying to do a job. So I could sympathize with him.
Yeah, and they start breaking down like all the things that he's done and everything he's accomplished, and like how they basically, it's what they say, MIT was studying him.
Yes.
And of course, so like he's got the shield. We're watching him practice, and he's got the ricochet like down pat. Which I mean, there aren't that many people who were able to do that. So
no.
And it's. You're right. I agree with you. Like he was asked to do this, so he came in and did this. So it's not like in Steve Rogers' perspective, he just kind of forcibly put himself in a situation because he wanted to have action done. This guy didn't know that this was going to happen. It was given to him. So yeah, so you kind of feel for him because it's not like he purposely tried to go for this.
And what I found most interesting in this was when he tells the person that is interviewing him, he doesn't have super strength and stuff like that. I was like, well, that goes against everything I thought. I thought the government would have somebody that's super powered. Yeah. It's kind of irresponsible of the government to send somebody out there, like a regular guy, out into these crazy situations. That's nuts.
Well, it's like sending that. What was that guy's name? Was it like Baxi or something like that? The guy from the Incredible Hulk, the special forces guy.
Yeah, the guy that turns into Abomination.
Yeah, like I mean, that was kind of the reason why they had him going after the Hulk, because of like how decorated and how skilled he was with everything that he was doing. So it's kind of the same situation, except you're not targeting a giant green monster.
Sure, hopefully yet.
Well, yeah, he doesn't know that yet.
Falcon is confronted by Bucky, and I hate to sidetrack us like this, but how does a parolee that's been pardoned get onto a Air Force base?
Good question.
How does he get in there? I was like, you're not just walking on there. Have you ever been to some of these bases?
Well, I mean,
I come from a military family, and you're not just simply walking onto these bases.
You're right, but I mean, he's pretty recognizable. But I mean, that's the downside, though. Is he's also recognizable as being a Hydra agent. So why? You're right. Why would he want to be? You can't be here, sir. But I mean, maybe he jumped the fence.
Yeah, he could have.
Yeah,
they have measures for that. Trust me. He says Sam had no right to give up the shield, and Sam tells Bucky about the flag smashers as they get going, and this is where they have that comical exchange about. It's got to be one of the big 3: androids, aliens, or wizards.
Oh, but Dr. Strange.
He's just a wizard without a hat.
Yeah. Which, by the way, thinking more into this is funny, because what happens in the last series we did? What did we deal with? We dealt with androids, witches. And in the end, there were aliens.
Yes. I love that. It's the big 3.
Yeah. And then Bucky's like, that's not a thing. And then everyone else keeps saying it. He's like, it's not a thing, guys.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And then we find out that Bucky has read The Hobbit. the original Hobbit.
Yeah, when it came out in 38.
I was like, holy smokes, that's pretty far back there. Was it 37 or 38?
I thought it was 38.
Okay.
I mean, doesn't matter. It's in the 30s.
Right. And then Bucky says he's going to tag along again. How is he allowed to tag along on this mission? This is great.
Okay, no, this is a side thing here. Okay, I don't actually think this is completely sanctioned by the U.S. military at all. Because first off, remember he's a private agent. Secondly, there's nobody else really on this plane except for him and then, Falcon's like sidekick there. Yeah. So I feel that this might have been something that they were able to drum up on the side to try and get something. I don't feel that this was completely orchestrated, because there would have been more backup. Like when we saw Falcon at the beginning of the series, he had a full regiment that was following him underneath and the eyes in the sky and everything. And that's not what we see here.
No. And, it just makes you wonder, you have to suspend your disbelief, but would the government allocate resources on some, home cooked op that somebody makes up, so it's fun. It's fun to wonder those things.
I mean, it's like with the Avengers, like, they had the money and all the equipment to do whatever it is they wanted to do. So now you're seeing like Sam do this and you're like, but you don't have that funding and you don't have that backing. How are you doing this now? You're just basically walking up to a general and being like, hey, I want to do this. And they're like, okay, hey, you're an Avenger. Sure. Why not?
No red tape here.
Yeah, no.
On a military base. Goodness. On the plane, Bucky and Sam are staring at each other. This is just brilliant. Whoever wrote this and have them doing all these different things is so funny. Oh, my goodness, it's comical. And he calls him Buck, and he's like, you can't call me that. Only Captain called me that.
Because he had a plan.
and when he just jumps out of the plane without telling him what's going on, and then Bucky's like, can I get a chute? And they're like, we're way too low for you to use a parachute. And he's like, I should be able to make this. Oh my gosh, that was the funniest exit from a plane that I can recall in television, period.
And you got to tear off the shoulder. I got to show the arm. I don't understand the point behind that, because if he was using his arm to block things, the only thing I can think of is that it would snag on something. But if he pulled it off that easily, if it snagged on anything, it would have ripped it off anyway. So dramatic effect.
Yes. I'll just show you I have a vibranium arm. Right. And he just bites the dust so hard. So 200 feet is doable.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and it's like, I got all that on camera.
That was great.
Yeah. Listen, I just want some sort of like outtakes for this entire series, because these two have to be having such a great time being I'm sorry, but towards each other the entire time. It is so funny just watching them, especially when we get further on. But we'll laugh at that here in a moment.
Edit point. All righty. All right. Inside the warehouse, it's White Panther. No, it's White Wolf. That was good. That was really good. Oh, you spent a little time in Wakanda and now you're a White Panther? That was great.
Oh, all that dialogue is like, oh, you being all sneaky and everything. Look at you, all stealthy. And then he's like looking for him. He turns around. He's like, whoa. He's like, hey.
Right here, buddy. But
that dialogue back and forth where he's like, look, I got a vibranium arm. He's like, and I can fly. So who cares?
Yes. And the coarse language in this episode, I was like, interesting.
For Disney Plus too.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Who gives a bleep? I was like, whoa. They are in hot pursuit as that trailer takes off, because the flag smashers can kind of hear somebody's rustling around and stuff. I think they start to get antsy. And I forgot how fast Bucky can run, which was really cool. To see him just hightailing it after a moving vehicle was epic. And earlier, Falcon had noticed there was an 8th person in the trailer, and they think it's a hostage. And when she comes out and she's all just kind of like sheepish, and then just kicks him out of the back of that truck, I laughed so hard. I love that scene.
And
this frail little hostage. Nope, smash.
I had an issue when I first watched this, basically, like, because he runs in between the trucks and then jumps in the front truck, and I'm like, what the heck is the back truck doing? I'm like, I mean, every time that we've ever seen anything, a TV series, movie, the other truck like drives up on him, tries to knock him out or something like that. But then when I went and watched it this morning, whenever like he gets smashed into back of the truck, and then the two guys like grab him off the roof. So that's what's going on. Is basically they see him get in there and they're like, hey, you guys get up there. I'm about to send you a present.
Okay, that was funny. Oh, I love that she just smoked him. That was so much fun. When they're fighting on top and Red Wing hovers down and the Flag Smasher jumps up, grabs Red Wing, and just snaps Red Wing in half. And Bucky's like, oh, I always wanted to do that. That was the best thing ever. And then we get the rescue. Who comes to our aid? It's John Walker and Lamar Hoskins, is it?
Yes.
So that's his version of Falcon almost. It's kind of hilarious.
Battlestar. He's Battlestar.
Yeah, we'll get to Battlestar in just a minute. But here's what I thought was interesting. If he's not super powered, how does he jump from the helicopter onto the trailer and just plant, and he wrecks her at first when he hits her with the shield? Just wrecks her. I was like, you seem like you're a little bit juiced up, if nothing more, maybe the beginning stages.
Well, I mean, he was using the how like the shield, how it has that ability to like, deflecting. So I mean, it's not like we haven't seen anything like that before. I mean, it's very normal Captain America of this, but I have a feeling that, I mean, if he was, more super powered, then he would have been doing a lot better job up there than what we saw.
Well, I'm saying maybe he's at the beginning stages, and they're obviously towards the end stages of their strength. Just my opinion. But Battlestar takes the rope down, and John Walker just jumps down, and I was like, interesting. Just something I noticed. But we absolutely love that scene from the previews where Falcon rubs it in Winter Soldier's face. That little girl kicked your bleep. That was funny as all get out. And Falcon's able to peel Bucky off that truck, and they go tumbling. And John saves Lamar by shooting a freaking gun. How'd you like that?
No. The next thing he did was more. I feel was more impressive. Whenever he gets thrown off the truck and he chucks the shield, and that is classic old school Captain America comic stuff right there. Because I mean, and he has done that before. So that was I mean, like, oh, he's dead. Oh no, never mind. He's okay. Just probably took some of that finish off the shield.
Yeah, he definitely should have taken some of the paint off. If it didn't, that's kind of silly. Mm-hmm. And then he promptly gets wrecked. He gets kicked off onto a conveniently located car behind him. Isn't that convenient?
Okay, so here's my issue with the entire, like, what was going on here. First off, you have two trucks going down a one-lane road, so they're taking up both sides, no opposing traffic at all. You have the one car behind it. Why isn't this? If I was in a car behind and all this, I would have been stopped and just let that keep going. And right. But here's the thing. The car, he falls in the car gets smashed. There's no other cars behind it. So it's just these two trucks and this one car. So that's very convenient. But I mean, I know we're just being picky for picky's sake.
Yeah, so of course. Sorry about Red Wing. No, you're not. That was priceless, dude. He just gives that fake, sympathy. Like, hey, man, sorry about your little sidekick getting destroyed. No, you're not.
I was waiting for him to be like, yeah, you're right. But he didn't do that. But that would have been, a nice little touch.
Definitely. New Cap gets snubbed by our guys. So now we have 8 super soldiers who want things back to the way they were during the blip while half the people were gone. And we find out that they tracked Red Wing. So let's go back to the Big 3 reference. Is that how they heard that comment before?
No, because I have a feeling that this is like something that's floating through the military.
I don't think so. Because that sounds like a Falconism, we'll call it. It just
Well, no,
sounds
because
like his made up homegrown, the big three. And then for them to repeat that exact phrase, I think they have been listening in on this device for a while.
Because he says that, whenever he's talking about, a sorcerer is a wizard without a hat, and he goes, I just made that up. But all the rest of the stuff, I actually think that the government is referring to the big three as, as something. I actually think that this is a thing that's on the inside.
We'll agree to disagree.
Okay.
Lamar, this is when he reveals he is Battlestar, and Bucky was like, that's enough. And he jumps out of the vehicle.
Battlestar, hold on, I actually have that up right here. Let's see. He was introduced in Captain America 323 as yet another character pulled out of Mark Grenwald's legendary run. Hoskins was originally a professional wrestler who was granted super strength from the Power Broker. More on him in a minute. Let's see. When John Walker took over as Captain America, Hoskins first became the new Bucky before ditching the name in favor of Battlestar. After the storyline of Walker as Cap ran its course, Battlestar has remained a minor patriotic vigilante in the Marvel universe, showing up here and there throughout the years.
Okay, so he had the Bucky mantle before, so they make that awkward on purpose.
Yeah,
I like that. All right. Falcon gets really ticked off when he says, when John Walker says, it'd be great to have Cap's wingman by my side. He was like, see, that last line, it's always the last line. And he was done with him. So that was insulting to him.
Mm-hmm.
So the Flag Smashers, we find out, are freedom fighters to many people around the world. That's how they look at them, like Robin Hood. And the leader gets a death threat via text. And I'm assuming that this is this infamous power broker that is texting her, saying, you took what's mine. I'll kill you.
So that character is Carly Morgenthau.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but as soon as I saw her, I'm like, isn't that Ghost from Ant-Man? Like, same.
No, she's kind of reminds me of her, but no.
It's the freckles. It's like their pick for a person with the freckles like that completely like just connected those two. So, but anyway.
Yes. Maybe we're putting our Young Avengers roster together.
Yep.
Falcon and Bucky talk, and he says there's someone Falcon needs to meet. So we're in Baltimore, Maryland, John.
Yeah.
And that little kid says, hey, it's Black Falcon. That was so good. That was so good.
So this article that I have here was doing the call out to that, how basically back in like the 50s and 60s, how, whenever you had a black superhero, they were referred to as the Black Blah.
Yep.
But him turning that around and be like, so does that mean you're black kid? He's like, but here, my issue with this, I'm like, listen to this. I'm like, they don't sound like they're from Baltimore very much.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, because his T's and his R's are too well pronounced.
That is outstanding. You can't get insight like this anywhere else, people. And if you're just listening to the podcast, I am black. So that's why we're having fun here with this whole conversation.
So it's not Baltimore, it's Baltimore. There's no LT, it's just Baltimore.
All righty.
That's anyone from Baltimore. Okay. That's not just any side of any hood. That's just, if you're from Baltimore, that's how you call it.
Nice. So now we meet Isaiah Bradley, the Black Captain America. So we find out he was jailed 30 years for his heroics. And his grandson is Elijah Bradley, a.k.a. the Patriot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is awesome. Young Avengers, unite. Let's go.
So I'm actually, this caught me off guard. I did not know this character existed.
Yes, we talked about it.
Really?
We talked about this on the show. I told you that they showed the actor in the after credits. on episode 1.
And you know what? But you said it by name, and it wasn't clicking of who he was to me.
Okay.
But I mean, I found some really good articles. The character came from a 2003's Truth Red, White, and Black, and it was a miniseries, and it was based on a Captain America from the 1950s. But they retconned this one to say that this one was more of a Korean War, I think it was.
Yes.
So it was I like what they did, but see in the comic books, he basically started, since it was in the 1950s, he started chasing after more Nazis whenever the US government told him not to. That was why he got locked up. Now, they don't explain to us in the series why he got arrested and was locked up, and then they started doing all the experiments and whatnot. But apparently, this was all part of a larger program that the US military was doing, where they were taking Black citizens and they were testing things on them because, they're nice and ignorant back then. And he was supposedly one of the only survivors from the super soldier program.
Yes, he was. Yep. And not to deflate everything right here, but that actually happened in the real world in America. They did tests on Black soldiers that were just not right.
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest one was like a big chlamydia study or something like that.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. I mean, this is mirroring something that actually really existed.
Yes. So, all right. Don't worry. We'll lighten things back up. Sam is yelling at Bucky, and then the cops show up. So at the beginning of the episode, there was this trigger warning. When we heard about the trailers having vaccines and stuff on it, I thought that was going to be it. But then this situation happened where the cops start to hassle Sam a little bit and think he's bugging Bucky. And I was like, oh, this is what's going on. But the excellent way they paid this off was like, sorry, Mr. Barnes, we got to take you in. You have warrants out. You have a warrant out for your arrest. I thought that was kind of a humorous way to kind of turn it around and just lighten the mood, so to speak.
Yeah, they were really quick to. I mean, that can happen over in Baltimore. But anyway,
that can happen anywhere.
They put the handcuffs on Bucky, and I'm like, did they not realize that doesn't do a single thing to him?
He'd just be like, snap.
They're like, I need new ones.
Right. But yeah, they can hassle, anyone over anything, no matter what color you are.
No, I meant that like him, they're sitting around the corner like they were. And then when they pulled up, as soon as they pulled up, another car pulled up behind her that wasn't hanging around that car.
Oh, I get you.
So, I mean, it just means that like, they were driving down that same road and okay, we'll just pull over. I mean, yeah, and that can happen. So, I mean, it's completely possible.
The new Captain America gives Bucky a get out of jail and therapy free card. He's not going to be tied to these strict schedules anymore, but it's on the spot therapy time. We get the funniest portion of the episode where Freaky Magoo over here and Falcon have to do some soul gazing. I was like, who on earth thought that this was a good idea? Like, no two human beings want to just sit there and gaze into each other's eyes unless they're in love with one another.
No, unless they're trying to have a staring contest. This is what I'm talking about. I want to see the outtakes for this because that they had nothing but a good time for this. And they probably did have a staring contest just because why the heck not? And then when they had to with it like Doc, they had to go in there with the leg and just sit like that with their legs. And they were like, "Come on, get here. No, you to left.
Get closer."
Yeah. All of that was so good.
We're going to start doing that at TP Network.
Yeah. We're podcasting this close from each other while staring into each other's eyes. Sorry.
Eyes.
Hey, well, although that'd be easy to direct the mic, you just put the mic down in between us.
Yeah, true. That is true. Oh my goodness. So this is when Bucky brings up his argument over the shield. And then Falcon says he did what he thought what was right. And this Winter Soldier asked the therapist, what was rule number 2 again? So I think rule number 2 is about to get broken. But did you catch that little line where Bucky says something along the lines of, if Cap was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me?
Yeah, he might have been wrong about me. Mm-hmm.
That's in the feedback. We have something in the feedback, so let's just put a little pin in that right now, and then we'll circle back around to that in feedback.
Gotcha.
All right. So Captain America, the new Captain America, wants to work with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that's a definite no-go at this time. So new Cap then kind of changes doesn't about face, and is no more Mr. Nice Guy, and he's just like, okay, then stay out of my way. And that sounded pretty threatening to me.
Yeah.
So we find out about Carly Morgenthau is the leader of the Flag Smashers. So as we said last week, instead of Flag Smasher being one character, Flag Smasher is a bunch of characters now. So she's been taking medicine to camps, kind of like a Robin Hood situation. And then the Power Brokers men show up at the airport. One of Carly's men stays behind to hold him off.
This was a waste, by the way.
It made no sense.
Yeah.
He could have just pulled down that light pole and then just super speed run to the plane, and they would have got away.
Or push down that light pole, run to the light pole that's behind those guys, push that one down, and then they can't drive anywhere. Right. And he still would be able to run off, and no one would be able to find him.
Right.
So yeah, him standing there and charging, that was absolutely dumb. It was a pointless death.
Yeah. Goofy.
Mm-hmm.
Bucky and Falcon, they bring up Zemo, because it was kind of weird that Bucky says my people, like Hydra. I was like, that's weird. But they think Zemo might have some answers, and he is chilling in cell number, John.
Oh, I didn't catch that. What cell number is he in? Oh, man.
2187. Sound familiar?
Uh-huh.
Star Wars. Princess Leia cell 2187.
Wow. No, I did not catch that. Good one. Good one, Hank.
Okay. Thank you. And I was like, please scribble in some writing on the wall. You're our only hope. I'd have been like, yes, thank you. My nerd prayers have been answered. Oh my goodness. Well, John, are you ready to give a rating on this episode?
Yes.
You go first this time.
All right. I'm going to give this one. I can't do halves, right? No?
Yes, you can, because I don't know if you caught it, but I changed your one episode back to a half on WandaVision.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna give this an 8.5. This had all the suspense, and I actually wish this was more of the first episode than the first episode. I feel that what we were looking for at that first episode happened here. So because of that, I'm giving it a pretty high rating. There were a couple slow parts in it, but it was more of like you're getting a little bit more into everyone's psyche and understanding what's going on. So I besides some continuity issues that they had in there, like the little bits of things like, nobody driving on the road with the trucks, and why'd this guy die when he didn't necessarily have to die? I mean, fine. You need to write some things off for this. But outside of that, I thought it was a pretty good episode.
Yeah, I had a ton of fun in this episode because they finally got the two main characters together. Yep. Imagine that. Imagine a series doing that.
Oh, and we got a Zemo sighting.
Yeah, we got Zemo. We got Morgenthau. We got Power Broker mention. We got a lot of stuff in this episode. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Truly enjoyed it. So let's hope next week's is a full-fledged 10. Mm-hmm. All right. Shall we get to we just got a couple pieces of feedback?
Sure.
All right. Hi, Hank and John. The couples therapy session was funny at first glance, but a weird thing for the therapist to do when she doesn't know Sam. Oh, let's stop for just 1 second. That is kind of odd, like saying, well, I guess it's not, though, because basically she was saying, you're the person I've been hearing about. You're the problem, so come in here. You're part of the problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, and it's not like Bucky hasn't probably talked to her a bunch about Sam.
Oh,
not to mention that whenever we see the first episode, she's going through the phone saying, you're ignoring all of Sam's texts.
Yeah.
So it's clearly she knows something about him.
That is cool. Okay. All right. Back to the email. Bucky was surprisingly emotional. Yes, he was this episode, but I think it was more Okay, I'll hold it because I'm reading ahead now. I see where I want to go with this. Why is he fixated on Cap's shield? What does he mean by if Cap was wrong about you, he was wrong about me? So this is the redemptive arc of Bucky. Cap is that only thread from the past version of him to the present. And Cap being off the scene now, if Falcon takes up that mantle, then he's right about Falcon, and then he's right about Bucky being redeemed. Does that make sense?
It absolutely does. And I was going to say the same thing.
Okay. Because if he's wrong about Falcon being the next Captain America, then he could also be wrong about Bucky being redeemable when everybody around him is just like, you're just a soldier, you're just a fighter, and easy for him to fall off the old wagon, so to speak.
Yeah.
But great. As always, thank you for your insight and providing a space to ask questions. Elizabeth, thank you for sending that in. That's great. Great points of discussion. So the shield is a symbol, and it's part of the legacy and a mantle. And whoever has that has to have all the elements of Captain America in Bucky's eyes.
Yep.
And our eyes as well. All right. Next email is from Rick. I like the opening scene giving us some insight to the character we should call Captain America Light. Oh, he says in homage to Alex Cruz, who is a fellow TP Network co-host. Oh, nice. That's pretty good.
Yep.
Captain America Light. That might stick. I was
Diet Captain America.
Yeah, one of the two. Yeah, yep. I was happy to see him as apprehensive about the job and humble. Much better than an egotistical guy who wants to replace Steve. You know what? Let's stop for a second. Do you think that he is going to start twisting that direction, John?
Absolutely. And I think that we just saw it start at the end of this episode.
Because he's going to get sick of people comparing him to him, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, back to the email. Throughout the episode, he was clear about the situation from his point of view. Yeah, I agree. I had to laugh when Bucky and Sam first talked to each other. I thought it was great. Was a great start of the relationship. Oh my gosh. This is where the problem comes in. It's funny. All right. Androids, aliens, and wizards cracked me up. It's true of the comic villains. My favorite line was Bucky saying that Steve knew him and Steve had a plan. Outstanding. Also reminded me of Lloyd Benson's line about JFK, if you get the reference. I don't remember that line. I bet you I will if I hear it. We'll look that up. I made a note of how much Bucky hates Red Wing. Had to laugh later at what happened. The White Panther and the Black Falcon lines were pretty funny. And we have more super soldiers. Guess I called that one. Great revelation about Isaiah was one also. Like the episode better than the first, especially the ending. Can't wait for next week. And that is Rick from Wisconsin. Oh, good stuff, Rick. John, any thoughts?
No, it's a lot of it. It was the exact same thing. And you take notes on all this and then watch them just like, exactly with Red Wing, like just break Red Wing. so
hey, everybody hit F5 for Red Wing.
But yeah, but their call out to a lot of like the older stuff, like, White Wolf, which is, from older comic books, as well as the movie. And then you get, Black Falcon, which is, the call out to how they were designing characters back in the 50s. It was a good comparison between the two, but also just a good call out that actually existed and happened. And, if anything, they're trying to rectify that now.
Okay. I remember this on that Jack Kennedy line, on that Lloyd Benson line, I should say. He says, Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy, when he was in 1988 vice presidential debate. So, okay. I do remember that. Very funny. Very good stuff. John, anything else before we wrap this episode up?
No, this is good. I like the direction that they're going so far, and I like they're digging up these older characters or side characters to help you complement what's going on. So far, I'm enjoying. We're only 2 episodes in. I'm enjoying it.
Yes, and thank goodness they didn't try cramming too many more Easter eggs in this episode. As you know, they had plenty. And this is the right amount of Easter eggs, in my opinion. Sometimes they go way over the top with there's 108 Easter eggs, and you're like, gonna be a long week. But I love it. And hey, if you want to be a part of the show, try to get your feedback in by Sunday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. +1 810-309-8445. Regular toll charges do apply, or you can just head to tpenetwork.com/feedback for all the ways that we take feedback. We'd love to hear your voice.
Hey everyone, this is how I ended up being drafted into TPE Network. I started by just sending in some comments. Then it turned into some voicemails. Then it turned into actually joining the podcast, and now I'm doing video. Hank is really good at roping me into things. But I'm enjoying every minute. So if please send your comments in.
Yes, we love to hear from you. All right, that is going to do it for this edition of Mouse House Plus. For John, I'm Hank. Until the next time, we're signing off.
Bye, everybody.
TPE Network. There ain't nothing else like it.